Cause I'm a Sea Island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm a Sea Island boy.
Hey, I'm a just Sea Island boy. I'm a just Sea Island boy. I'm a just wine and dine. I'm a shoot ski with that gun. While my wife is soaking up the sun. And Coocher be fool-gazing. Him and Patton be always playing. They like you wanna be famous. I'm trying to sip that Camus. Cause I'm a Georgia boy. I'm just that real island mafia. That down-ass mafia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my love.
Welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast for the RSM Classic 2021. It's the Sea Island Boys tonight. Yes, we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride the Island Boys joke till you guys just are so sick of it you can't stand it. But it's Sea Island. You know what I mean? It's the last event of the year. Everybody on tour be fugazing. You know, they're fugazing. They're ready to just, hey Pat, what does that even mean? Do you know what fugazing means? You know, if you're fugazing.
Know what foogazing means.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
would like to know.
Maybe somebody in the chat can correct me. I'm pretty sure, like, if you fugazi, you're kind of fake. You a fake at, you a fake at, so you're kind of fugazing.
So Coocher be fugazing, like in my lyrics there.
Yeah, he's faking.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Sea Island. It's the RSM. Nobody gives a rip. It's the NFL season, but we're still here. We're here. We're putting in our time. For all you people out there. Yes, so producer Sam confirms it does mean fake. It means you being fake. So there you go. Presented by, I don't know if Fantasy National wants us to tell people what we're presenting, that they're the presenting sponsor of this episode, but Fantasy National is the presenting sponsor, and we appreciate them. We've been using these boys for years. It's the number one place, your one-stop shop for all your stats for PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, all the good stuff. Every stat, every reference to course history, recent form, all being pulled from Fantasy National. If you're not about it, get about it. Okay. FantasyNational.com/TJ is where you go to get 20% off any level membership there. And you can try it out. And if you like it, the 20% rides with you. You know what I mean? It rides with you. It's not fugazing. It's going to stay on. It's going to stay with. It's going to be real. All right. 20% off. FantasyNational.com/TJ. Appreciate it. Now, Pat, I turn it over to you, buddy. Podcast juice salute to you. I'm drinking some tequila soda with an orange tonight. Cheers to you for hitting your third outright winner. This is not the betting show, but your third outright winner in 8 events on the PGA Tour this season with Jason Kokrak. Props to you. You're the god right now.
Cheers. Hey, you know what? It's just when you're hot, DB. Sometimes things just happen that way.
Yeah.
And how about I hit Kokrak with his first win last year around this time? I guess it was one of those no cut events. Then he wins again at the Colonial, and so he's got 3 wins now in the span of a year. And a guy that it took so long for him to get his first win.
Yeah.
But look, Kokrak, great playing. Shoots a smooth 65 on Sunday to just take the lead, and it was
really wasn't
easy,
in question, was it?
Pretty easy win for him, but very excited to hit that. And let's just keep it going. We got this last tournament here. Let's get it going for this one, and.
Between my card and your card going into Sunday, we had 6 guys in the top 10. So we had it fully surrounded. And of course, Kokrak just ran away with it, which is perfectly fine at 50-1. I will take it.
Maybe people should pay attention to my card.
Maybe people should pay attention. It's the Pat, not that anyone really cares, betting card. And I did have somebody ask me today where they can find that betting card. And you got to know, you can find it on Twitter or you can find it in the Nut Hut on Wednesday evenings. If you don't have Twitter, you should just buy the Nut Hut for $10 a month, and Pat's card pays for itself in one hit. It's the easiest thing in the world. All the crypto advice can pay for it next. So the Nut Hut or Twitter is where Pat's betting card is found. My betting card is found on tourjunkies.com and the Nut Hut as well, and also tweet it out. It's been a good run, buddy. I mean, I guess, if there's a bright spot for me, the chalk bomb was Brooks Koepka. I pounded it all week. I stood by my hot take, and I said, I don't care that he's had input on the course. He don't care. He's here because he had input on the course. He doesn't care, and he's not informed. You can forget about it. He's fugazing that he's even there. He was fugazing to Houston. He was fugazing the one before that and the one before that. So he missed the cut, about 15, 16% owned at the most. And then the thing that people don't realize about the chalk bomb is more than just the chalk bomb. The head-to-head matchup section last week crushed it. For some reason on Wednesday, the books did not like Matt Wolff. He was an underdog in almost every matchup. And I was sitting there going, in the write up, I said, I don't understand this. I don't think it should be this way. I think you continue to ride Matt Wolff. I don't know what's going on, but you ride it. And Matt, I think he won every matchup he had. And then I said Tyrrell Hatton, who was a favorite in every matchup. I didn't understand that. And I said, no, I'm out on Tyrrell Hatton, and so should you. And he missed the cut. So the chalk bomb is more than just the chalk bomb, people. And I don't understand if you unsubscribe to that thing. It's free. If you don't care this week or you don't want to read it, just delete the email.
Yeah, delete it.
Unsubscribe.
Don't unsubscribe. Come on. I don't want to see that come across my desk.
Yeah.
That somebody's unsubscribed. One single person. I don't even want to see it.
Every time that happens, one of our little secretary people just slips a piece of paper to Pat, and it says, John T. Smith unsubscribed. He's no longer interested. And it just hurts Pat. Every time that happens, Pat gets a gray hair.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want that. So we can't have that. So subscribe to it. The last one of 2022 is hitting your inbox this week, people. Get on it. It's the last PGA Tour event of the year. It's the last tournament preview for us. Well, now we mentioned last week we've got some additional content coming. Thank you for that. By the way, shout out to JO3 Rock, our boy Joe Roche, I think, Nut Hut member, won the Nut Hut Listener League yet again without a TJ avatar. So he will be deducted points for that. Joe, until you change that, you better change it. But he's got his spot into the Listener League finals next year for a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip to come play golf for a weekend with me and Pat. I mentioned last week, we've got the upcoming awards show, and we've got the 2022 preview show. Again, same thing. Leave us a comment in the YouTube. Your favorite moment of 2021 golf, whatever that was, give it to us. We want to reflect back on that. And then a question about 2022. Anything's up for grabs. A question about 2022 golf, or what we got going on. Put that in the YouTube comments. Please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Listen, I do it too, so I'm guilty, right? You're watching a YouTube video, somebody tells you to do it, and you just what is it about just not moving your finger over here and just hitting like, subscribe? It doesn't stop the video, so we're going to keep talking. You're good. Just hit it real quick. It helps us out. Leave a comment. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Be like Phil. Give us that thumbs up. Give us Please do that. And also, big tournament preview coming up tomorrow night as our European Tour expert, or I should say now DP World Tour expert, Mark Hill, is coming at you with a very special guest, Tom Jacobs. Great guy. Great follow on Twitter. Sharp player. Love Tom. He's a good dude. Mark and Tom are breaking down the DP World Tour Championship. The final event of that season is going on this week. It's a good field. A lot of big names over there. So you're going to want to check that out. That drops tomorrow evening, I think. And they're going live. That's right. 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on our YouTube channel. They'll be recording that show live. You're going to want to catch that. And then obviously if you listen to it on podcast, you can check that out too. So that's it for that. We got a great betting show tonight. We're going to go off on something on the betting show tonight after this. So I'm pumped about that. But Pat, I mean, it's the RSM Classic. You and I have been there plenty of times. We've been media at Sea Island before. We've seen the tour at the RSM Classic. It is a bunch of people who are ready to go home. If
it really is.
If this were the Siwoo Kim we go home moment for the entire PGA Tour and their staff, it's the RSM Classic.
At least it's in a good place, though. I mean, they're better. They're worse places to be than Sea Island for a week. So yeah. So we got 2 golf courses this week: Seaside and the Plantation Course at Sea Island Resort. Pat, hit us with the details. Yes. So how about this? We have all these 2 and 3 course events at the beginning of the year. They kind of front load a lot of those. And then we get all these tournaments without having to deal with this. And here we go. We finish the season with 2 courses, which drives me crazy, but whatever. We are at the Sea Island Club, the Seaside Course, and the Plantation Course. As you mentioned, they will get 3 days on the Seaside Course. That is the main course if they make the cut. And they'll play at least one day, either Thursday or Friday, on the Plantation Course. We'll start with Seaside because that's obviously the one that we're going to focus on the most. It is a par 70, just over 7,000 yards, so it is not very long. It's a Tom Fazio designed course. We've got 156 players in the field this week. T65 and ties will make the cut. It is a linked style course right on the coast. You got Bermuda greens this week. They're pretty large greens. But they do run very quick on the stent meter typically. But if you look at this course, I mean, it's all about iron play into these greens. You do have to scramble pretty well, though. It is the one that is most exposed to the wind and the elements, which is why I say it's kind of a link style course. And wind can certainly be a factor. And it looks like it's going to be this week. Thursday looks to be pretty benign, but then it's going to pick up dramatically on Friday and into the weekend. So that's going to be something we want to look at. Get in the Nut Hut for that. A lot of weather opinions, I think, are going to come out this week, and I think the Nut Hut is where you need to be to get what we are.
It is looking very blustering on
Friday. Thursday
Friday.
Looks fine. Thursday looks fine.
Yep, for now.
Yep. But Friday does not.
That was another. I mean, you mentioned it last week. The weather at Memorial changed a lot. It changed like 4 times on Wednesday. It took me so long to get the email out because I was waiting on the weather to kind of make up its mind. It's a big advantage to have that chalk bomb email and be in the Nut Hut for those last minute weather thoughts. We talked about it last Wednesday night on the live chat. So definitely do that.
Absolutely. But the weather should be good. I mean, it's going to be chilly.
Yeah, no rain.
It's gonna be sunny, so that should be good. Then you go over to the Plantation course, which they'll get at least one day. It is a par 72, 7,060 yards. Davis Love III redesigned this course back in 2019. Bermuda greens here as well. You've got 4 par 5s, and 3 of them are reachable in 2. So this is a course where we think you could have some scoring on, although I can't remember, but it seems like last year it played a little tougher than they thought it was going to play. I think the greens are going to play a little more tougher than the Seaside greens, a lot more slope and undulation on them, and they just didn't quite have them figured out. I think this year, though, the course will play a little bit easier, just kind of the second, third year into the redesign. You do have 10 holes out here that have water on them. It's kind of off. I mean, it's a seaside course, but it's not, on the water. It goes back kind of inland. You got a lot of tree lined fairways that are pretty wide, but there is, you've got some, inland water and lagoons and things like that out there that do come into play a little bit, kind of like you see it like Hilton Head, something like that. So Plantation, we'll see how that goes, but I do think it is certainly, if you get it on the good day, you should be able to score out there, especially on the par 5s. As far as stats for me, I'm looking at certainly form and course history. Putting on Bermuda certainly shows well on this course, and I'm looking at strokes gained approach. A little bit of scrambling, and here's why. You look at the last 5 of 6 winners on this course. 5 of them, of the 6, all finished in the top 5 in scrambling, including Tyler Duncan and Austin Cook. Both were number 1 in scrambling on this course. So that to me means a little bit of something. But your past champions, last year we had Robert freaking Streb.
Killed us. We had the outright on Kisner.
We had Kiz in the outright, and this was his second win here, actually. Streb's second win. And Kiz was going for his second win. Yeah. But 19 under for Streb. Tyler Duncan in 2019 at 19 under. You had Charles Howell at 19 under. In 2018.
Remember, that was the year I gave away a PXG putter.
Yeah.
We had Charles Howell on the card as well that year.
Yeah. Cook before that in 2020 at 21 under. Hughes at 17 under in 2016. Going back to 2015 is where Kiz got his victory at 22 under. So,
and Chris Kirk also in the field, won in 2014, I believe.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a course history spot for sure. I think, course history jumped up, recent form, obviously. This is, these two courses, typically easier courses on tour. So you got to be ready to make some birdies. So I'm looking at hitting fairways, strokes gained approach, putting on Bermuda, just like Pat said. And I do have a sprinkle of weight on the strokes gained around the green number. But, definitely looking at form, ready to go, playing in the wind. With this wind prediction, it's a great time to have Fantasy National, where you can look at how they play in moderate wind and windy AF conditions. If you're curious, windy AF is defined on Fantasy National as 17-mile-per-hour winds or greater, which you're looking to see for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I wanted to point this out, Pat, because you talked about Plantation and Seaside and how they play differently. Because I think there is something that you're going to hear a lot of touts. You're going to read a lot of touts this week. They're going to tell you the Plantation course is far and away the easiest golf course. So you got to take advantage of it on showdowns. You got to take advantage of it. If the weather wave, typically the rule of thumb is this: if you have one day where out of Thursday or Friday, where it's going to be more difficult conditions than the other, most of the players we've talked to, and we've surveyed players and caddies over the last 6 years about this very question. Most of them will tell you that they prefer the easiest course on the easiest day because they got to go make their birdies. Go get the birdies, and then you can prepare yourself mentally for a tough day on a tougher course and tougher conditions. That's what they prefer. Now, so you're going to have touts say, that means that if the easier day is on Thursday, you want all your guys starting Plantation on Thursday. But in the first 2 years of this Plantation redesign, that is not what we've seen. And I do agree, Pat, that those greens may have softened a little bit. They may have been pretty firm and new those last 2 years. That could play into it. But here's what we saw in 2019. Plantation in the first 2 rounds played 0.14 shots easier. 0.14, not even like a quarter of a stroke easier. Okay. And in 2020, last year, they basically played exactly the same. It was less than a tenth of a shot. They played exactly the same. So I tell you that to say there could be, a way to have a little edge. If it's showdown, if it's the weather wave that you're playing, and everybody's loading up on Plantation guys on Thursday, the easier day. I'm not saying you go full on, shoot your shot with the Seaside guys on Thursday. But in the last 2 years, these courses have almost played identical in terms of difficulty. Now, Plantation, you obviously have 4 par 5s. You don't have that at Seaside. And on a windier day, all things else considered equal, like on Friday, it may be tougher to play Seaside in the wind, being coastal. But at the same time, we've had caddies tell us that sometimes when there's trees intermixed and it's windy, it's tough to know where the wind's coming in. At least when it's open, you know what directions it's coming from, and it's not swirling on you as much. So I'm just saying, don't get too pot committed to the Plantation course being the far and away easier golf course here. So, but we'll have more about that later.
And wind direction is huge. We talked about this a lot at the PGA Championship at Kiowa. I mean, the direction that the wind's coming in off of is going to be huge when it, because if it comes in, or if it's coming in a direction where it's, some of these holes are more protected, if it's not coming in straight off the ocean, then it may not make as big of a difference. So there's a lot to look into there. And I love that. This is one of the weeks I love when we're going to have a lot of wind, going to have no rain or anything like that. So there's not going to be any cancellation of play, which is great.
Or delays like last week.
But we could have a huge advantage if we just pay attention to it and look at it closer to the start times on Thursday. So I like weeks like this.
Yeah, and our buddy Caddy John, who had 10 years experience caddying on the PGA Tour, still talks and works with a lot of caddies on the PGA Tour. He is a Nut Hut contributor, and every week he gets in the Nut Hut under our caddy info channel and types out his thoughts. So he will definitely break me down and tear me apart if my take just now was completely errant. But we'll know a lot more from Caddy John. Another reason to be in the Nut Hut. Another reason to be in the Nut Hut is if you're into crypto, because Lord knows I am, and I've been balls deep in the crypto world here lately. So if you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies but aren't sure where to start, our friends at Kraken, we've been telling you about the Kraken, boy. You need to unleash that bad boy on your phone. You can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptos like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, all on the go and all 24/7. It's really easy to get started. You can download the app, create your account, and you are investing in minutes. And listen, Bitcoin's at like 65,000 right now. It's no big deal. You can buy $10 worth. You can get that. You can get started real easy. Just dip your toe in with Kraken and find out for yourself why the Kraken app has been one of the highest rated places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. They've been doing it for a while, folks. 10 years. So visit kraken.com, kraken.com/Tour Junkies to learn more, or search for Kraken in the App Store. A lot of good crypto chat going on in the Nut Hut as well, although we do not is not investment advice. Okay, so we're not doing that. All right, Pat, we ready to get into this? Ready to get some DFS picks?
Yeah.
Some takes?
It's tough this week. Kind of tough for me.
It's a little tough. I do know this. Starting in the 9K range and above, we're going to give you some GPP plays, a fade. I've got a cash play, and I'll give a name I think is going to be chalky. I definitely think that there's a lot of gold in the 6K range, and when there's a lot of gold in the 6K range that I like, now there's a lot of it, so I got to narrow it down between now and Wednesday because I got like 12 names written down off the bat, but there's a lot of it down there, and I like it. So I'm probably going to go pretty studs and duds heavy this week, and so that'll leave me a lot of room to play around here with these big boys up top. With obviously Scotty Scheffler starting out at 10-9. No player at 11K this week, but Scotty's been hot. He's played well here before. And then you got Webb Simpson, Louis Oosthuizen, all the way down to Adam Scott here for the first time, at least in a long time. I don't see any recent history on him. Our boy Kiz makes it up here at 9,200. Hot Russell Henley's at 96. It's an interesting range. Here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go Scotty. I'm going to ride the hot form. I feel like he could have come in at 11-2, 11-1. I think I'm going to go Scotty, and I'm going to take the chance on the hot form. I think he's here partially because he's hot and he's ready to close the door. I think Scotty does not want to go into 2022, after being in this good a form right now, without taking this last chance to get that PGA Tour victory under his belt, book him a trip to the Tournament of Champions in Hawaii the first week back in January. I think he's here because he's ready to rock and roll and do that. He did not play at this event last year, played his first year out in 2020, finished 5th. So if you think Scotty doesn't have the game here, finished 5th right out the gate, Korn Ferry Tour. So I'm going to ride it with Scotty. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Scotty. I'm going to do it. And then right below him, Louis Oosthuizen at 10-4. I'm gonna bank on Louis here. I think he's got the perfect game for this place. Doesn't have much of a record here. Missed the cut his first time out last year, but checks a ton of boxes. I mean, he's got the putting. He's one of the best putters on the PGA Tour last year, if not the best. Started off this PGA Tour season okay, nothing to write home about. But talking about accuracy, talking about ball striking, that's Louis Oosthuizen at 10-4. I'm rolling with that. And then I'm going to skip down to Russell Henley, who I mentioned earlier, at 9,600. I mean, he's hot right now. The irons are hot. He's hitting a ton of fairways. He's second in this field in strokes gained approach, 12th in this field in fairways gained over the last 24 rounds. Putting on Bermuda is actually, I mean, the thing that we always complain about with Russell Henley's a putter, but Bermuda he is light years better on, and he comes in pretty good form. T7 last week, top 25 at the CJ Cup a few weeks ago, Shriners T21. So Russell Henley, I think, is definitely in play. A course like Wyndham, he finished 7th back in August. That's familiar. RBC Heritage last year finished 9th. So, like, this is the kind of track where Russell Henley can put it together. And all you need is that putter to be, like, a little bit better than average, and he's up there. So, Henley, Louis, and Scotty for me. And the fade is Webb Simpson, who I think will still be chalk. I could be wrong, but I think he'll still be chalk because everybody's going to love the course history angle with Webb. But what's interesting is, he's the second highest price guy in 10-7. And if he was that every time he ever played the RSM, he really only returns value 3 out of 6 times he's been here. 3 out of the last 6 times he's had a top 10 finish, and he would have returned that value. But I would argue that in almost all 6 of those times, he came in with the ball striking being a little better, the form being a little better, and really he just hasn't played a lot of golf. This is his 14th event since the Masters. He's dealt with nagging injuries. He's dealt with just probably fatigue. He's getting older. I just don't think he wants to play a lot of golf. He's picking his spots, which surely this is a spot for him that I'm sure he circles on his calendar and says, yeah, this is the event for me. But there's just a lot more unknowns this go around for Webb than we're probably used to seeing. And just last year, he was obviously chalk, finished T37. That doesn't do you any good for the guy at 10-7. We've seen him come out, miss a cut already this PGA Tour season. I just think it's been pretty spotty. And really off the tee and approach and putting has been pretty spotty since the Masters for Webb. It's just kind of like here today, gone tomorrow in all 3 of those categories. We're not seeing the consistency, at least in approach or putting like we used to with Webb. So I think I'm going to bow out and avoid a potentially chalky Webb Simpson. And
I don't mind that.
In here would be Russell Henley for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Any of those plays, I like them. That's why I'm saying this whole range is kind of tough for me because I think there's a lot of good plays, so it's tough for me to just narrow it down to what we typically do. But my first GPP play was Usti. I'm with you there. I like him at 10-4 for all the reasons that you said. I think he's a great play this week. I know he missed a cut last year here, but I don't care about that. I think this is just. Yeah, this is a good spot for him. And who knows, maybe you'll get a little lower ownership because of that miscut. But he's just had a fantastic year all around, a good course fit for him. So I do like Usti. I like Corey Connors at 9,900. I mean,
I tried to get on him.
It's hard to get on him because of the putting. The putting on Bermuda.
We haven't seen him play more.
Yeah.
Does it feel like he should have been playing more? I wonder what's going on with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but either way, I mean, he's still got good history here. Top 10 last year, T23 in 2019, T37 in 2018. He's obviously got all the skill sets for this course. I mean, he's a great ball striker. Great on approach. I mean, those are his two just best things that he does. He's 14th in the field in birdie or better percentage. He's top 20 in opportunities gained. The worst thing you're going to look at are going to be scrambling and putting for him. But he obviously has gotten a handle of that on this course in the past, or on these courses in the past. So I like Corey Connors at 9,900. And then I don't know why I want to do this to myself. I really don't. But I feel like he's going to be pretty low owned, and I do think this is a good course fit for him. I don't think he's ever played here. Maybe he has, and I don't remember. I haven't seen it. But Adam Scott at 9,000. I think we're going to get Adam Scott so low owned. I mean, you look at it from approach and ball striking, checks the boxes.
I played him last week.
Yeah, birdie or better percentage.
He killed me after.
Yeah, putting on Bermuda is not good. This is just like Corey Connors, but I just feel like this is kind of a gut play. But Adam Scott, I think, could have a good week. I just feel like it could happen this week. So we'll see. He was T54 last week at the Houston Open, had a top 5 at the CJ Cup. So I do like Adam Scott as a GPP play. And then my fade is going to be Joaquin Niemann. Missed a cut last week at the Houston Open.
And I was bummed about that.
He's played here twice, hasn't done great. I mean, T44 in 2021, T65 in 2019. He's certainly going to be I would say you would think that he would check a lot of boxes for you from the stats, but I mean, nothing really stands out. He's not in the top 50 in the field in anything that I'm looking at. So I think Niemann could be a little bit of a fade here at 9,700. So there you go. Those are
about, my name's Kevin Kisner. Who lit the Kiz?
Nothing about Kiz. If your stats guy is going to tell you to play him other than putting on Bermuda, he's top 10 in the field there.
Well, unless you're looking at like long term, like course fit, like overall.
Oh yeah, obviously there. Yeah, you're going to play him at that point. But
so I kind of left him off because I thought you were going to bring him up, and I kind of like him. I think he's kind of, like if I don't fit Scotty and Louie in one lineup, or if I want to play if I want to go a little more balanced, I kind of like him here. We know he spent a day or two with our boy John Tillery, who we saw a couple weeks ago at the Georgia game. Spent a day or two with JT, getting it tightened up, getting it ready to go. And this is an event where, Kiz definitely, like Webb, circles it on his calendar and knows this is a spot where he can eat. So, and I feel like he's one of those guys. We know Kiz well enough. Like, he's one of those guys that, the playoff loss last year had to absolutely suck. So, I feel like he wants to kind of get some redemption there from that playoff loss. But Pat, are you texting him right now?
I agree. I think you're right. But I mean, what about? I mean, Kiz is so inconsistent this year. I mean, he's like he does nothing, and then all of a sudden he almost won the Wyndham out of nowhere. I mean, he did win the Wyndham out of nowhere.
I would say that's the course that's perfect for him, right? Like he's taking advantage of the courses that seem to suit him. I mean, we know how checked out he gets. It's one where he knows he's got to hit it a mile, right?
Yeah, true.
Now, missed cut at the Heritage was stupid. There were some others that were kind of dumb, but I don't know. I just feel like this is an interesting spot. Now, I'm going to talk about him in the betting show. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how chalky he is here. I don't know if I like a chalky Kiz, which he may be. It may be hard to not have him be chalk here, but
if you're like Mr. Stats guy, then you can't play him. I will not allow you to. I will not allow you to play Kiz if you only adhere to stats and you think that those should guide you in everything you do.
Yeah,
because if you're looking at some of my favorite ones, he's 141st in the field out of 156 across the board.
In what?
Between the main stats I'm looking at.
Well, I mean, in mine, like he's obviously checks a box in putting on Bermuda.
Well,
He's
no,
good,
that's it. That's it.
good around the greens. He hits fairways. Like,
I don't think fairways matter as much here, other than
see, I think they do. I
they're
think you
pretty
got,
wide. They're pretty wide here.
yeah. I mean, I think in these conditions we're going to see, I think you want a guy who's going to make sure he puts it in the fairway.
I'm just telling you.
Control the spin, control the ball flight into these greens and windy conditions.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I like his.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the stats people because you know me. I'm not a stat. I don't like to adhere to only stats. But
Right.
if that's what you do, if that's what you think that the stats are going to tell you everything you need to know to pick a player, then you cannot pick his. You are not allowed to do it.
Okay. The Pat has spoken. All right, Pat, give us the 8K picks.
All right, a couple guys in here. This was harder for me. I'm going to go back to, hey, look, here we go. Opposite of what I just said. Or not opposite. Actually, this goes along with it. Mackenzie Hughes, not going to check a lot of boxes for you, but he does have a good history here. He's won this golf tournament. Now, it's a spotty history.
He's a fan of yours. He's a fan of yours.
He's a fan of mine. He loves me.
Yeah.
He did miss the cut 3 out of 4 times after he won here, but I don't care. I like how Mackenzie Hughes has played this year. You know, he's been in good form all year long. You know, you look at his last 3 events: T29 last week at Houston Open, T4 at the Zozo after you dogged him, and a T25 at the CJ Cup. I like Mackenzie Hughes this week at 8,600. I think that's a good play. And you know what?
A guy makes me eat out a pumpkin, it's going to be a few tournaments before I play him. So I just can't do it. And
Okay.
Mackenzie made me do that.
Well, I'm so glad he made you do that.
By the way, McNeely, another top 25 last week. I don't know. I just kept saying it, but nobody wanted to listen. 7 out of 11 top 25s from Maverick McNeely. I'm glad he's not here because I would have played him again.
Okay. I probably would have too, actually, this week because he really has proven
finally, after 7 top 25s in 11 events, you want to play him?
Yeah. Here's a guy I think it's time to get back on. Brendan Todd, 8,400.
Yes. I'm in on
It's
Todd.
time to get back on Brendan Todd with a T11 his last tournament at the Mayakoba. You look at his course history here; it's very good. The last 3 years, you know, stats. I mean, this is just a great course for Brendan Todd. He's number 2 in the field, by the way, in putting on Bermuda. So I think he's another good pick here at 8,400. My fade is going to be Justin Rose, and I'm going to continue to fade Justin Rose until he shows me anything that is. Like, I just don't see how he's even 8,800. I don't understand.
It's a terrible price.
It's awful. It's awful. He should not be 8,800. I mean, that there's at least $1,000 added on to him just because of
it's like DraftKings thought it was 2016 and they decided to price Justin Rose. Well, there's a lot of agreement in this range for me. So Justin Rose is my fade as well. For just mere price, just straight up price. It's not the Masters. It's not a tough U.S. Open venue, Open Championship, PGA venue. It's a terrible, terrible price for Justin Rose, who can't seem to make birdies so far in the this PGA Tour season. So why would he start now? I don't know. So I'm out on that as well. And it's for a guy who doesn't play here ever. And I think he's here because he feels like he has to be here because he's not going to get any FedEx Cup points. So unless he starts playing better golf and more golf, the better. I'm in on Brendan Todd. I had him written down. And then I guess for me, this is kind of tight. This is kind of tough. It's really between 2 guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play Joel Damon. Pat.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think I'm gonna play Joel. I know Joel loves a course that he doesn't have to hit it a mile, right? He's coming in pretty good form, trending nicely in terms of form. Not great with the putter typically, but hitting a lot of fairways, hitting the irons well right now. He's played here 5 times. He's made 3 out of 5 cuts. No great finishes, but Joel's improved year by year as a player. So at 8,500, I don't think many people are going to play Joel despite the T5 last week because I think it's quite the price jump even in this field. It feels kind of weird. So, you can gain leverage on the field by overpaying for a guy sometimes. I don't always advise that, but this week I just got a feeling. Now, if, hopefully someone close to Joel is listening to the podcast and they'll text me and say, hey, probably want to back off on that. Joel's got the shits and the shanks. You know what I mean? He's in the bathroom or he's looking for his ball in the rough. So, and then I'll adjust accordingly and I'll let the nut hut know. But I think I'm feeling good about Joel. Joel and Brendan Todd for me. And yes, Rose for the fade. And the cash play for me here is Todd. And I don't know who the chalk's going to be in this range. Do you have any idea who the possible chalk could be here? Maybe it's
Well,
Brendan Todd.
you're probably asking me because last week
You were
I was
close
dead
to my
on with
chalk.
Mito.
You were not dead on. You said he'd be sub. I said if he was sub 10%, I would shave my entire body. He was 12%.
No.
Yes, he
He was
was.
like 10.9. You were very close to shaving your entire body. Way closer than 2%.
Live on air.
Yeah,
I think that was a good ownership projection on your part. I can't believe you got it that close. But
I don't think that
Josh Kissler, this month's loser has to eat out the backside of a turducken.
again.
It's Thanksgiving.
I don't know if anybody's
Hilarious.
going to be chalky in this 8K range.
I think it could be Todd, actually.
It could
We
be.
both like Todd. The fact that we both said his name, we usually never
Yeah.
say his name, is probably an indicator, but we shall see. It's November. Thanksgiving's coming. It's also engagement season, guys. Engagement season is in full swing. Jewelry stores are packed with soon-to-be grooms, nervously throwing around words like cut, color, clarity, carat. In the middle of all that chaos, it's easy to forget about your band, guys. Manly Bands is here to make your whole band buying experience a hell of a lot easier than what it took to get hers. Manly Bands offers your hand the freedom to look how you want it. They have just about every type of earthly material imaginable, and even some from space. They have meteorite, carbon fiber, Damascus steel, wood, antler, and even dinosaur bone. Okay, I'm wearing my Manly Band right now. My wife picked it out. It's called the Executive. It's pretty. I mean, doesn't that just reek executive right there? So that's my Manly Band. To get started, go to manlybands.com/tour junkies. If you don't know your size, you can order you can use their Manly ring sizer, which I did. It includes, well, no, I didn't do that. I used the app. The app is super easy, but you can also order the Manly ring sizer. And if you're feeling more creative, you can customize your band from scratch. You can choose the style, material, inlay, sleeve, engraving, and finish. You can shop with confidence at Manly Bands. They provide a free warranty, a 30-day exchange policy, and they ship their rings for free worldwide and include a free silicone band if you're going to do some CrossFit or something, and you don't need to scrap the metal. On top of that, Manly Bands is running a huge sale from now through Cyber Monday, where you get 25% off your Manly Band. That's an extra 5% than normal you get with Tour Junkies. 25% off your Manly Band now through Cyber Monday. So whether it's your first band or an upgrade, go to manlybands.com/Tour Junkies or use promo code Tour Junkies to get 25% off now through Cyber Monday. That's 25% off manlybands.com/Tour Junkies or use promo code Tour Junkies. Appreciate it, Manly Bands. Thanks for supporting the podcast. And I'm sorry that I burped in the middle of your ad read. All right, Pat. 7K. What are we doing in the 7K? There's a lot of names.
This is
There's some value here, I think. I think I'm gonna give you some cheapies here. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you hit it.
All right, I'm gonna start down here at the bottom, man. I mean, you talked him up last week, and I got to give you more credit here. I guess this is just pet Pat's ego this entire freaking show, which I guess we got to do it sometimes.
I'm just island boys. I'm a sea island boy.
Yeah. You said Denny McCarthy last week, and I did not see that coming, but he did play quite well. Finished T11. That was on the back of a T15 at the Mayakoba, a T39 at the Bermuda. Denny is trending, and I mean, he's a guy who definitely fits the style of player that would do well here. Mixed bag in terms of a history here, but T8 is best finish in 2020. That's all I need to see. Like, if you got a T8 and a miscut or two, but you play like you're the style golfer that fits this place, like Denny McCarthy is, that's all I need to see. So I think this is a spot. I think Denny McCarthy gives you winning upside at $7,000. So I like that pick. Another guy that I think gives you winning upside with also spotty history, but I think he's playing better now than we've ever seen him play in his PGA Tour career, and for sure more consistently. So if you're talking cut maker, Adam Schenk at 7,000.
Yes,
Continues to just play super well. Now, one thing about Denny McCarthy I didn't even mention, like, one of the reasons he's so damn good is because he's an amazing putter. Well, so is Adam Schenk, especially on Bermuda. Like, both those guys lights out Bermuda putters, and Adam Schenk playing really, really well. I mean, had a little hitch at the Mayakoba where he missed the cut, But I mean, he's been consistent and he's given you some upside. A fourth at the John Deere, a third at the Shriners. Like he's had some top 5 moments. He had a chance to win, I believe it was the Shriners. So like Adam Shank's been in the thick of it a little bit, and I think he's a player that could also get it done at just $7,000. I'm going to kind of go in this mid range here to a guy that you like. Adam Long at $7,500 is checking boxes. An accurate player off the tee, very accurate, hits a ton of fairways, very solid putter, Adam Long. And I mean, we've seen some really nice form out of him lately. What have we seen? We've seen T11 last week, 22nd at the Mayakoba, 25th at the Zozo. And Adam Long likes this place too. So he's coming off a T30 and a T35 the last 2 years. He's improved every year here, and he's improved in his last 3 weeks on tour. Everything's trending the right direction for Adam Long. This is a good spot for him that he needs to take advantage of. So I'm in on Long. Those are some cheap plays. I like a lot of other guys here, but those are some cheap names. My fade is Jason Day because Jason Day is broken. We keep talking about it, but he's broken. He's got too many kids. He's lost something. This is not a Jason Day course, and it's too easy. But I mean, it is an easy play, but it's a fade for me for Jason Day. I think the cash play here. I think you can go Denny McCarthy in cash at $7,000. I think you can do it if you're doing double ups or 50-50s. I would be willing to do it. There's enough value there with Denny, and I think for sure made cut. And I'll wait for your pick to tell you who I think the chalk might be in this range.
Okay. Well, first off, I'll start with the agreement. I am with you on Adam Long. I had him written down as one of my plays here, so I like that there was some agreement there. So Adam Long was one that I liked at 7,500. Down a little bit below that, and I think this guy will certainly be low owned, but Brandon Grace at 7,400. He's had kind of a sneaky good year. You know, I don't know if just people forgot about how good he was a few years ago. But he did win this year. You know, he's 4th in the field in strokes gained around the green. He's top 40 in strokes gained approach. He putts well on Bermuda grass greens. I think Brandon Grace, this is a good place for him. I mean, you know, 7,400, Brandon Grace.
Okay.
You seem to have some comments there, but maybe.
I like Grace. I think that anytime Brendan Grace is in a field where the golf course sets up like this does, our boy Pat Mayo is going to talk him up. I haven't listened, but I'm sure he's going to talk. He loves Brendan Grace, and if Pat Mayo talks him up, and now you've mentioned him, I don't know that he will be low owned.
Maybe not. And I don't, like we say this all the time, I don't listen to any shows before ours, so I have no clue if he would have talked him up or not. But he did finish T30 here last year, in case you're wondering what he did last year. He did miss the cut also, the Houston Open, but before that had a top 10 at the Zozo. So I think Brandon Grace could be a good play this week. Moving up closer to the top, Patrick Rogers at 7,700. Oh. You know, here's the thing about Rogers.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trending in a good direction. He did miss a cut at Mayakoba, but 4th at Bermuda, which is a course that has a lot of wind. You know, it's a coastal type course. He was 4th there. You look at his history here, very spotty. He's missed the cut 3 out of the last 5 years. But when he has made the cut, he finished 2nd in 2019, and he finished T10 in 2017. And then let's go to the stats for Patrick Rogers. 13th in the field in ball striking. He's 33rd in par 5 scoring. Checks the box in scrambling. 11th in the field in putting on Bermuda. Birdie or better percentage. He's 22nd in the field. I think, you know, a lot of things are trending in the right direction for Patrick Rogers for this to be a good year on this course outside of those 3 missed cuts. So I like him at 7,700. Probably going to be low end as well. My fade is last year's winner. I'm not going to play Robert Streb. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Can't play Robert Streb.
See, I think Streb is in play, especially if this wind forecast holds up. I wrote that down. Streb if windy is one name I wrote down. He's good in the wind, dude. He's good in the wind, and he's popped some form here recently. Rogers, I don't know. I say gag. I say gag because I never get the dude right ever. Never get him right. He does have upside. He hits the ball a long way. I don't typically think of him as a player on a short course like this, but you know, he has shown it could be done. The price seems a little high for him, even in this field. Like I'd rather play Denny McCarthy over. I mean, I would have priced Denny McCarthy higher than Patrick Rogers at this point, but you know, it is what it is. interesting. I do think he'll be low owned, so you will have that going for you.
Okay.
All right, who are some 6K guys you like?
Oh, by the way, this is for one of our listeners, Charlie. I almost wanted to play Matt Wallace this week. I was so close to writing down Matt Wallace as a play.
His name because of Charlie.
And if I had not, I love you, Charlie. If I had not just seen how bad he's played recently on his European tour kind of stretch here, I probably would have played him. But he was on my list because he did finish T4 at the Zozo and top 15 at the Shriners. But then you go recently to his European tour events, and it hasn't been good at all. So Matt Wallace is maybe he'll be a bet for me
I kind of like
sneak that in. Just to sneak that in. He's played well here in the past.
kind of like him a little bit.
I think he's even led this tournament. Was he not leading this tournament last year at some point?
I don't know. Charlie would have definitely let you have it. He's going to let you have it though if he sucks. But
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Who are your 6K plays?
All right, a few 6K guys here. I'm going to start at the top at 6,900. I like Chad Ramey.
Yes.
He did miss the cut last week, but T17 at Bermuda. I think Ramey is a great play. You know, he is I just feel like this guy is going to be an absolute stud. You look at the stats for him. I mean, literally across the board, he's like top 30 in everything that we've talked about. Other than maybe putting on Bermuda, but still, I don't think we have enough history for Ramey to even worry about that yet. And then I'll go with another guy, a rookie off the Korn Ferry Tour that I think is going to be another stud, and that's Davis Riley. You know, guys like Taylor Pendrith, they kind of, stole a little bit of his thunder. Will Zalatoris, obviously. But Davis Riley was coming on strong on the Korn Ferry Tour. And, he's got his card for next year or for this year. I think this could be another, a good spot for him. You look at his form. Let me get down to him. Sorry. Excuse me.
I will plug the heavy petting email that comes out on Tuesdays because every week so far this season, I'm giving you intel and insight on 2 Korn Ferry Tour graduates, PGA Tour rookies, what they did well on the Korn Ferry Tour, how they got to the PGA Tour, the key stats that you need to know about those players, what type of players they are, and what type of courses suit them best. Chad Ramey was an early write-up in one of the first events of the season. And he's a perfect fit for this course. What he did well on the Korn Ferry Tour fits this place just fine. So I would echo the Chad Ramey play for sure.
Yes. By the way, thanks, Sam. Wallace was the first round leader last year. He shot 64, and he was tied with Camilo Villegas.
Nice.
Anyway,
Caridi pulling that too in the chat. Very nice.
So Davis Riley, you look at his last few events. He has played well. T29 at the Houston Open, miscut at Mayakoba, but then had a top 10 at the Bermuda, and then also T56 at Shriners. So for a guy at 6,700, I think Davis Riley is a good play. And from everything we hear about him, he is definitely a stud. So I do like Riley there as well. Another guy, Grayson Sigg at 6,600. I mean, Sigg is a Georgia boy. He's played in this tournament a few times.
Sea Island Mafia resident.
Yep, did miss the cut last year. Did miss the cut last week. But before that, T33 at Mayakoba, T22 at Bermuda, T47 at the Shriners. I think Grayson Sigg, this sets up to be a great week for him at 6,600. He did play here in 2020 and missed the cut, but way back in 2018, I mean, he was like just a young pup, made the cut here at and finished T49. So I do like Grayson Sigg as well. Another one that's he's an Augusta guy, and we haven't talked about him all that much, and he hasn't had a great year. But Vaughn Taylor at 6,500. Has a great course history here. T8 in 2018, miscut 2019, but a top 10 in 2020 and a top 30 last year. I think Vaughn Taylor could be worth a flyer play in some GPPs if you need to get down into that 6,500 range. So there you go.
Charlie Oliver probably got summoned in the Nut Hut that you were talking about him, and now he's popped up in the chat. Matt Wallace.
The what now?
Charlie's popped up in the chat.
Oh, he is. Nice. Yes, Charlie. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy, but I'll cuss you out on Wednesday night in the live chat. Yeah, a lot of agreement on Ramey. Really like him. I'll see your Davis Riley and raise you Davis Thompson. I'm gonna go with him. Sea Island boy. Lots of familiarity here for Davis. He's a little cheaper at 6,400. First time out here as a professionally T23 in 2020. I like Davis Thompson here, but I like another Thompson. All the segues, you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I like it.
I like another Thompson better, and that's Michael Thompson. Never thought I'd say that. At 6,700, Michael Thompson got some good showings here, but he's hitting it well right now, and I think he fits. He fits the course play, or the golf course here at Sea Island. T15 at Mayakoba. We've heard that he's kind of been striping it lately. So Michael Thompson's a buddy that I want to get on. Stefan Jaeger, Korn Ferry Tour guy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot like Chad Ramey. Obviously, Stefan, this is his third trip around the PGA Tour, son, graduating from the Korn Ferry Tour. A lot like Chad Ramey, though, did his damage on the Korn Ferry Tour, hitting a lot of fairways, hitting a lot of greens in regulation, scrambling really well, and being a great putter. So Jaeger's one that I like. He's got some familiarity here at Sea Island as well, and showing some form at the courses that I think really suit him. Bermuda T20. So I'll go with Stefan Jaeger, and then finally, I like your Vaughn Taylor play. I don't mind it, but right there with him or just below him at 6,400, Andrew Putnam.
Yes, I thought about him too. I agree.
T37 here last year, okay? But if you look at the stats, if you are a stats fellow, he hits plenty of fairways. Approach play is actually pretty like top third in the field right now in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. Good putter, especially on Bermuda. Top 25 in strokes gained putting on Bermuda. And he's just making some cuts right now. Like, it just seems like Putnam is kind of finding a little bit of a groove. He's not doing anything spectacular other than like the T11, I guess, at the Farmers. But Putnam can get hot. I mean, we saw earlier this year a 4th at the Arnold Palmer, 5th at the Puerto Rico, 7th at the Waste Management. Like when he's on, he's not afraid to top 10 it. So I think this is an interesting spot for Andrew Putnam, and 6,400 is just dumb cheap. So there you go. Those are the picks, folks. We'll narrow it down. We'll get you some emails out this week. We'll do the live chat, and then that'll be it for 2022 tournament previews. Man, it's been a long year, 40-something events. Good God. And we're going to get right back on it in January. But some more content being delivered to you before then. Pat, before we go, we got to do our joint lineup build.
Yes.
Last week's build, not great. We only got 4 of 6 through last
week. Has it ever been good?
We had one. I think we had one good week, actually, since we started doing this. So, hot tip, you may not want to tail the joint lineup build. I mean, we are building it in 1 minute on Monday. A lot of things change between Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
But, it's fun to try and do. But, hey, that also means we're due. This could be a good week.
Yeah. I think we need to start with the strategy here before I hit the start button. And I think we need to just go studs and duds, and let's just go from there.
I love that strategy.
Okay.
All right, you tell me when.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Louis?
Yes. Louis for sure.
Oh, shit. I didn't clear out stuff. Okay, how about, speaking of duds, how about Ramey? We both really liked him.
Yeah, let's go into Ramey. Yeah.
Let's go into Ramey. Yes. Did you like Henley? I can't remember.
I didn't mind Henley. I didn't say him, but you did. So, yeah. I'll go with Henley.
Okay.
What does that leave us?
7,700.
What if we go?
Where's he's at 80?
No. Let's go down further. Let's.
We gotta hurry.
Adam get up to there. Yeah, go Adam Long.
McCarthy, Shink.
Let's go Shink.
Okay, that leaves us 8,600. One player.
Oh, that's gonna put us with Todd.
Good.
Yeah,
done. How much? You did it.
8 seconds left.
Woo! All right, good, nice. All right, so we got Louis Oosthuizen at 10.4, Russell Henley at 96, Brendan Todd at 84, Adam Long at 7,500, Adam Shink at 7,000, and Chad Ramey at 6,900. I like it. I like that. That's a solid lineup right
Feeling
there.
good about this one. I
do
feel good
too.
better about this one than
I
I
do
have
too.
any of them that we've ever done.
Feel great about it. We had some agreement on the pod tonight, and I think that probably helped. That was good. We haven't had that much agreement here lately. So I'm trying to get on your level, Pat. I'm honestly trying. But this happened last year. Remember, you had your little heater run. You did great at the PGA or Open or whatever it was, and then it transferred to me.
It did. It did. It transferred. It did. And we have a good ebb and flow. A good ebb and flow between us.
Send it over here, buddy. Send it right here.
Wait.
Yep. TV magic. All right. Thanks for watching the Tour Junkies podcast, listening. Give it a 5-star review if you don't mind. Be sure and comment on the YouTube channel. Favorite 2021 moment or question about 2022 you want us to cover in the podcast that we're going to do here shortly. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for rocking with us all of 2021 for all these tournament previews. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate you guys. Y'all are the best. Give us some love, though, okay? Don't be a Jeff. Don't be a Jeffrey. All right, we'll cover that in just a second.
Yeah.
Betting show coming up next. Thanks a lot. May your screens be green.